China has transformed the ocean into a monitored domain, an environment where movement is no longer hidden, but mapped, predicted, and controlled. Across the South China Sea, an intricate network of satellites, radar stations, and AI-driven systems constantly scans the surface. Every vessel is tracked. Every route is analyzed. Every anomaly is flagged. This is not just surveillance. It's strategic awareness at a national scale. China's maritime monitoring capability has grown into one of the most advanced in the world, allowing it to observe activity across critical trade routes and contested waters in real time. Nothing is supposed to slip through unnoticed. But what if something already has? What if within this highly controlled system, China has developed a warship that exists outside of detection itself? A vessel that doesn't appear on radar, doesn't trigger satellite recognition, and doesn't register in the very network designed to track everything? This is where the concept of China's invisible warship begins. Not as a rumor, but as a possibility emerging from technological ambition. Because if China can operate a ship that cannot be seen, it doesn't just control the ocean physically. It controls what the world is allowed to perceive. And once visibility becomes optional, power takes on a new form. Silent, hidden, and impossible to predict. What does invisible actually mean in China's naval doctrine? China's approach to invisibility begins with a fundamental shift in how stealth is understood. Traditional stealth reduces detection. China's ambition is to eliminate it. Modern Chinese warships already incorporate advanced stealth principles, angled hulls, radar-absorbing coatings, and reduced thermal emissions. These designs minimize how much energy is reflected back to detection systems, making ships harder to track. But harder to detect is not enough. China's next step pushes beyond conventional limits. Instead of simply reducing radar signatures, the goal is to control how electromagnetic waves interact with the ship entirely. This means designing vessels that don't just deflect signals, but fundamentally alter them. In Chinese research facilities, engineers are experimenting with materials capable of absorbing, scattering, or redirecting radar waves in ways that leave no recognizable return. The objective is clear. When radar scans the ocean, the ship doesn't appear as a faint signal. It doesn't appear at all. This redefinition of stealth transforms invisibility from an advantage into a strategic asset. Because if a Chinese warship cannot be detected, it cannot be tracked. If it cannot be tracked, it cannot be targeted. And in a system where visibility determines vulnerability, removing visibility entirely changes the rules of engagement. How exactly is China attempting to make radar irrelevant? At the heart of China's invisible warship concept lies one of the most advanced areas of modern physics: electromagnetic manipulation. Radar systems depend on a simple principle: send out waves, receive reflections. If nothing comes back, nothing is there. China's approach challenges that assumption. Through the development of advanced metamaterials, Chinese researchers are exploring ways to guide electromagnetic waves around objects instead of reflecting them. These materials are engineered at microscopic levels to control how waves behave upon contact. When radar waves encounter such a surface, they don't bounce back. They are redirected, curving around the object and continuing forward as if uninterrupted. To the radar system, the space appears empty. This is not just stealth. It's optical level manipulation applied to the electromagnetic spectrum. China has invested heavily in this field, integrating material science with naval engineering. The challenge is scaling these materials from laboratory experiments to full-sized warships. If that challenge is solved, the implications are profound. Entire vessels could operate as blind spots within detection systems. Not hidden, not masked, but effectively erased from radar perception. And once radar becomes unreliable, the foundation of modern naval detection begins to weaken. But radar is only one layer. How is China eliminating every other signal ship produces? China's pursuit of invisibility goes far beyond radar. To truly disappear, a warship must eliminate every detectable signature it produces. Heat is one of the easiest ways to identify a vessel. Engines generate massive thermal output, which can be tracked by infrared satellites. China is addressing this through advanced cooling systems, dispersing heat across wider surfaces, blending it with ocean temperatures, and reducing the contrast that detection systems rely on. Sound is another vulnerability. Traditional propulsion systems create noise that travels efficiently through water, making sonar detection possible across long distances. China's solution focuses on quiet propulsion, refined engineering designed to minimize vibration and acoustic output to near undetectable levels. Then there's electromagnetic emission. Communication systems, sensors, and onboard electronics all produce signals that can be intercepted. China's approach includes strict emission control, limiting or eliminating transmissions to prevent detection entirely. When these systems operate together, something remarkable happens. The warship doesn't just reduce its presence, it erases it across multiple detection domains. No heat signature, no acoustic trail, no electronic footprint. What remains is not just stealth, but absence. And in modern warfare, absence is one of the most powerful forms of presence why is China investing so heavily in becoming invisible? China's investment in invisible warship technology is not, it is strategy. The ocean is the backbone of China's economic and geopolitical power. Critical trade routes pass through contested waters, and maintaining influence over these routes is essential to long-term stability and growth. An invisible warship changes how that influence is exercised. It allows China to operate without revealing intent, to move assets into position without triggering escalation, to monitor, patrol, and even project force without being directly observed. This creates a new layer of strategic flexibility, one based not on confrontation, but on controlled ambiguity. Because when other nations cannot see where Chinese naval assets are, they are forced to assume the worst. And in that uncertainty, China gains leverage. Invisible warships don't just enhance military capability, they reshape decision-making at the highest levels. Opponents must plan for threats they cannot confirm, respond to movements they cannot track, and defend against scenarios they cannot fully understand. This is not dominance through visibility. It is dominance through invisibility. But how do other nations respond when China introduces something they can't detect? China's invisible warship concept exposes a critical weakness in modern defense systems: dependence on detection. Every naval defense strategy begins with awareness. Identify the threat, track its movement, and respond accordingly. But if China introduces a platform that cannot be detected, that entire process begins to break down. Without detection, there is no tracking. Without tracking, there is no prediction. And without prediction, response becomes reactive, often too late to be effective. This creates a powerful asymmetry. China's invisible warship can observe without being observed. It can approach without being tracked. And in a conflict scenario, it can act before defenses are even aware of its presence. For opposing forces, this introduces a new level of uncertainty. Radar systems, sonar arrays, and satellite networks become less reliable, not because they're failing, but because they're being bypassed. And when a system designed to see everything suddenly sees nothing, that nothing becomes the most dangerous signal of all. Is China already capable of deploying this technology, or is it still in development? China has not publicly unveiled an invisible warship, but its technological trajectory suggests something significant is underway. China leads in shipbuilding capacity, producing advanced naval vessels at a scale unmatched globally. At the same time, it continues to invest heavily in emerging technologies, metamaterials, stealth engineering, and integrated system design. These are not isolated efforts. They are converging. Historically, China develops critical technologies quietly, testing, refining, and integrating them before revealing their full capabilities. This approach allows progress to occur without external pressure or premature exposure. The idea of a fully invisible warship may still be evolving, but the components required to build one are already in motion. And when those components reach maturity, the result may not be perfect invisibility, but something close enough to redefine detection itself. Because in warfare, perfection isn't required. Only advantage. If China continues advancing at this pace, what does the future of naval warfare become? China's pursuit of invisibility signals a shift in how wars at sea will be fought. The future is not just about stronger ships. It is about smarter, less detectable ones. China is moving toward a model where visibility becomes a liability, where being seen means being targeted, and remaining unseen means controlling the engagement. This transforms naval warfare into a contest of awareness. Who detects first? Who understands first? Who remains hidden the longest? Invisible warships fit perfectly into this framework. They operate as unseen variables, altering the battlefield without revealing themselves. And when combined with AI-driven analysis and real-time data systems, China gains the ability to manage both visible and invisible forces simultaneously. The result is a battlefield that looks empty, but is anything but. A domain where the most important movements are the ones no one can see. And as China pushes forward, the rest of the world is forced to respond. China's advancements do not go unnoticed. The possibility of invisible warships forces other nations to reconsider their own capabilities. Detection systems must evolve. Countermeasures must be developed. Strategies must be rewritten. This creates a new kind of technological race, one centered on perception itself. But China holds a critical advantage: momentum. By investing early and integrating multiple technologies into a unified system, China positions itself ahead of the curve. Others may follow, but they will be reacting, not leading. And in a race defined by innovation, the first mover sets the direction. China's progress in invisibility doesn't just challenge existing systems. It forces the world to rethink what naval power actually means. Because if visibility can no longer be trusted, then control belongs to those who can operate without it.s. Oh, what does this mean for the future shaped by China? China's invisible warship represents more than a technological milestone. It represents a shift in how power is defined. For centuries, dominance at sea has been visible. Massive fleets, overwhelming firepower, undeniable presence. But China's approach suggests a different future. One where presence is hidden, where power operates beneath detection, where control is exercised not through what is seen, but through what cannot be seen. If China succeeds in developing truly undetectable warships, the implications extend far beyond naval warfare. It changes how nations project force, how conflicts are managed, how strategies are formed. Because in a world where something can move unseen, certainty disappears. And in its place comes something far more powerful, uncertainty controlled by those who understand it. China is not just building ships. It is building a new layer of warfare, one that exists beneath perception itself. And by the time the world fully understands it, it may already be operating within it. Subscribe for more deep analysis on China's most advanced technologies and the strategies shaping the future, because the next global shift may already be happening beyond what you can see.